Hello, I am Ruth with Fae Hollow Homestead, and I am here. We are doing a three-part series on book reviews, or kind of like a let me show you what's on my bookshelf type thing. For the first one that we did was homesteading and foraging, and then what we're going to be doing now is gardening, and then the third part of the series will be for herbs and medicinals and stuff like that. I do have a friend with me today. This is Igor. He hatched yesterday, and he is the only one that is hatched, and so he needs to have a lot of company so that he can thrive. He's also a little duckling that was born with wry neck, so he had a very crooked neck, and so we're giving him some vitamin E, Pedialyte, and then some poultry nutrition supplements. This is Igor, because he had his little hunchback, but he is getting so much better now. You can see his neck is hardly crooked at all. He's just a little bit cockeyed to the side. So he's a good one. And we let him just cuddle and stay with us because he likes to stay warm, but he also needs to cuddle. So I have only one hand to use sometimes because he's nuzzling in it right now. It's super cute if you can kind of see. There he is, he's cuddling. So, okay, my bookshelf has a lot of books on it because I am a big believer in collecting books, having books as resources and keeping them on hand for all types of purposes. I think it's more valuable to have it in physical form rather than just be able to Google it or something like that. So, especially since where we live, we only were able to get internet maybe 6 months ago. There was no signal. We couldn't get, like, cell phones was not a thing here. We had a landline up until 6 months ago, and that's it. Also, my son is playing a board game on the floor over here, so if you hear him, that's what's going on right there. Okay, so these are just my favorite of the books that I have. I find books at yard sales, at book sales. I go on Amazon a lot and see if there's, like, you know, the used booksellers that they have on there. If there's one that I really, really want, I'll get that new, but I like to buy them used as much as possible. And then some of these have been gifts to me. So first off, I think that having book resources is very important, and then just as important would be having books that are old books as well as books that are new books, because new ideas, they're revolutionary, right? And that's why they call them, because it's something new, something that we haven't done before, and sometimes they're just excellent ideas, and I want to have access to those ideas. I also want to have access to old ideas, things that have been tried and true for the last 100 to 1,000 years, you know. There's a reason why they did it and why it's stuck. So this is a cool book that I really like. This is Old Wives' Lore for Gardeners. This is just a really quick little read, but there's a lot of stuff in here that that is just very, very, like, you know, what your grandma would have said about gardening and stuff like that, you know, like things about insects, things about when to harvest, things about when to plant, and things that you can put with your plants in order to make them grow better. Just because it's in here doesn't mean that it's going to work necessarily, but usually there's a reason why there's lore about it. So, you know, like harvest on the full moon type thing, and plant on the new moon, things like that. So anyway, this duckling just nuzzled into my hand even more, and it's so cute. I love baby ducklings. Okay, so here is a really, really awesome book. Now, I looked for a book like this for a long time. This is the only one that I found that's like this. I'm a Christian. I am not into the whole green witch, white witch, you know, herbal witch kind of thing. That's no. And so when I was looking for things that are like biodynamic gardening, a lot of them was based on that type of stuff, and I'm just not interested in having that in my house. This is biodynamic gardening, and it's basically just based off of science. And so this is how to increase yields, decrease pests, make things more abundant, grow faster, things like this. It talks about when to plant based on the moon cycles, and there's a lot to that. When you factor in with the moon, there's all that gravitational pull and push and stuff like that. I mean, the tides run on the moon cycles. Gardens also have a lot to do with the moon cycles. And so I like to plant on certain days that are more beneficial for, planting root plants, or planting, above ground plants, or, grass-like plants. This book deals with that. It also deals with like how to make an organic paste of like if you want to make a salve for your trees, if they have wounds or pests or something like that, how to put things together from your garden to kind of smear on your tree trunks to make them healthier, to ward away the pests, what plants to plant near each other to kind of help each other. There's so much stuff in here that you're not going to see in a whole lot of other books. I have not seen 98% of the stuff that I've seen in here in other books. And so this is, I would highly recommend this. This is called Biodynamic Gardening, Grow Healthy Plants and Amazing Produce with the Help of the Moon and Nature's Cycles. And this is written by it's a DK book. Gosh, it doesn't have the author on here. Who's the author? I want to give credit where credit's due, right? Monty Walden. Anyway, Monty Walden. So, really good stuff. I would say highly, 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 highly recommend this book. Really good stuff. Yeah. Okay. On to the next. I have a food forest, so I'm going to have stuff like this. The Foodscape Revolution. There's actually not a whole lot of books out there about doing food forests and landscaping with edibles. And so this was kind of an exciting book to find. This is Brie Arthur. She's she's a author, and she also she's so smart, and she knows so much about foodscaping. And so this is a really, really great way to get some knowledge on that. So this book is a good one. She also has some really great photos in there and examples, and she talks about, growing things from seed and transplants and stuff like that. It's good stuff. This is the classic Gaia's Garden. I just continually rent this from the library. I pull this out all the time. I just need to buy this book. This is a library book. But this is Gaia's Garden. This is a guide to home-scale permaculture. And so this deals with not just food forests, but also how to incorporate like poultry into your food forest. Where do you put, how do cattle fit into this? How can you build buildings to help facilitate the whole permaculture ideal and system with your gardens? And so this is, and it's an inspiring book. This is a really inspiring book. I like this one a lot. Gaia's Garden, Toby Hemingway, really great, really great. Highly recommend that. If you can get any food forest permaculture book, I would say get that one. And then this is just another one. So Edible Garden Design, kind of the same thing as the Edible Landscaping. Jamie Durree's Delicious Designs from the Ground Up, it says. And so there's just really great things on here for food forest type environments, or if you want to just create an edible landscape in your yard rather than just like a pretty landscape. Okay, so this is the Organic Gardener's Handbook of Natural Pest and Disease Control. Something like this is an important kind of book to have in your library, because you're gonna end up with pests. And I would want to know how to deal with those pests organically. Now the biodynamic gardening helps a lot with that, but this is also good. This is more based just on the pest and how to take care of it organically. And it is a Rodale organic gardening book, so I really like Rodale. I like it. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I only ever read about them, but that's a great company. This is a really great resource, okay? So this is by, yeah, this is just a Rodale book. So there's a bunch of authors. Natural Pest and Disease Control, the Organic Gardener's Handbook. Do this one. This is a good one. Okay. Are you perking up? You're waking up? Hey, sweetheart. I have a towel in my lap because ducks don't have a sphincter. So he's just going to go whenever he wants to, or doesn't want to. It's just going to happen. Okay, weedless gardening. Who doesn't want weedless gardening? I know I do. So this is a really good book. He talks about how to get rid of weeds, how to keep weeds out, lots of different methods and how to do that. I mean, he does a lot of the things that like the Back to Eden gardening guy talks about. He does a lot of things like the No Dig gardening guy, Charles Dowding, talks about. So this is a really great book. It's a little bit older, which makes me like it a little bit more, actually. It tickles. This is a great book. This is Cut Flower Garden. This is written by Aaron Benzakine. There's a way to pronounce that, and I'm sure I didn't do it just now. But she owns Floret Farms, and she talks about how important flowers are, and she goes into the whole science of it and what the percentage of flowers you need to have in your garden in order to have an abundant vegetable garden even, and how to do cut flowers in a way that you can have continuous harvest. And if you wanted to turn this into a business, this is the way to do it. Read this book. I am not as big on cut flowers as far as like making sales and stuff like that. I haven't done that at all. In fact, most of the cut flower gardens that I have are just seed mixes. I don't even know what the flowers are in there really. I spend most of my time doing the food forest, the herbs, and the vegetables, but I appreciate cut flowers, and so I use this, and it's a really good book. So check this one out. Really great. I mean, everything that she talks about will benefit your vegetable garden as well. This is a really good book. This is Gardening When It Counts, Growing Food in Hard Times. So this is a Mother Earth News book for Wiser Living. So if you know Mother Earth News, they recommend this one highly. So this is really just like super sciencey, but in a good way. Like, it's not too hard to read. Like, they really make it approachable. And so it talks about how to grow food for self-sustainability, even if maybe you don't have all the resources at hand right when you need to start growing things. So this is really cool. So it helps you do it with a very small amount of hand tools. If you don't have electricity, if you don't have irrigation, how can you grow a garden when it matters most? This is a really great book. Highly recommend this. Who wrote this? Steve Solomon. Okay, this, I'm just gonna say that about all of them. This is an amazing book. This is Elliot Coleman, 4-Season Harvest. I was so excited to find this book at a book sale for like 50 cents. I can't believe I found this for like 50 cents. This is a handbook basically on how to grow food in the depth of winter. He has a garden that he harvests from in New England, I believe, in the winter. So if he can do that, then I think that pretty much all of us can, unless you're like way up in the Arctic or something like that. So organic vegetables from your home garden all year long. He makes it easy, approachable, something that you feel like you can really handle, and really great ideas, things that are outside the box. Okay, so I talked about how important it is to have encyclopedias for everything. So this is the Gardener's Encyclopedia. So the Practical Gardener's Encyclopedia, I'm sorry. So the Essential Guide to Creating a Beautiful Garden. This is just a really great book because it goes over basics like propagation, seed saving, companion planting, where to buy plants, how to plant plants, you know, what conditions different plants like, the basics of pests and what they are, what they look like, control, things like that. So this is really great. It has some great pictures in it too. And then I also have this other encyclopedia, which is the American Horticultural Society Encyclopedia of Gardening. This was a gift to me from my father. The Definitive Practical Guide to Gardening Techniques, Planning, and Maintenance. So this is just about like everything you could ever possibly want to know about a garden. This is a really good one. So I would highly suggest having this one. If you're gonna have any encyclopedia for gardening, this is the one that I would say, because it's basically the Bible for gardening. Here's the complete manual to organic gardening, because the Encyclopedia of Gardening doesn't necessarily mean that they're all about the organic stuff, okay? So this is one specifically for organic gardening. So the complete manual of organic gardening, edited by Basil Kaplan, editor of the Organic Gardening magazine. So this has really got some great stuff. This actually has a part in it by Charles Dowding. He's my hero. If there's anybody that I'd want to have at like that dinner, you know, where you could talk to anybody, it would probably be Charles Dowding, Rico Keck, and Jesus, I don't know, Martin Luther King Jr., stuff like that. Anyway, so I mean, it's really got some great stuff about watering, weeds, growing under cover, ornamental kitchens, soil and compost. Like, this is really good. This is a great one to have. I like to have a few different encyclopedias so that I can cross-reference them, because some will have more information in a certain area and some will have more information in another area, and cross-referencing, you can get both of those. Okay, so these are now two books that I found at my library. This is my local library, and I bought them because it was at a book sale that they had. This is called Dirty Knees, and this is done by Johnston. This is a gardening book for my specific county in Virginia, written by Nancy E. Johnston. And I mean, like, there are, I'm sure, books written for your specific counties or wherever it is that you live. Like, this is, she was a big-time gardener. She was Amish. She did a lot of things. Like, this is an incredible resource because she wrote down all of the things that she learned about our specific region and what worked and what didn't, when to plant things, how to plant things. Anyway, so this is a really great book. And then she also wrote another one, The Needs of Seeds, which is kind of a unique book that I found, because there's not a lot of whole books that I've gone out and seen that talk about the specifics of planting seeds and different types of seeds and what they need and how you can fulfill that and things like that. Most books talk about the plants rather than the seeds, and some seeds are very difficult to germinate if you don't know the secrets and the tips of them. Like, I did a video about, you know, what the seed companies aren't telling us about how to plant marigolds and nasturtiums. And like, these are not things that you'll find on the back of the packet of the seeds. It's just something that you got to either know, figure out, or have somebody tell you. Well, this is a whole book about that. And so I was very excited to see this. It was also for sale. I snatched it up as soon as I possibly could. It's even a signed copy, so I think that that's really cool. It's all about growing your own vegetable transplants and how to get those vegetables to grow the best way possible. So if you aren't in Virginia, in my zone, or in my county, or next to my county, these books specifically might not be great for you, although I would definitely say The Needs of the Seeds would be one that you'd want to get. But if you can look around in your local area and see if there's somebody who did write a book about it, your local area and all the things that they've had experience with gardening in that area, I would say get that as soon as possible. You can't have much better, more valuable information than somebody who's actually done it for a long time, who knows what they're talking about and has done it successfully in your specific area. So that's what I'd say about that. So thank you so much for watching. That was my specific books that I really like about gardening. I've got a ton more, but these are the ones that I felt like were the most important to share with you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please do the like, the subscribe, and the notification button, please. That would help me a lot. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.